Hey, you, what's up? How is it going? Have you ever thought about how your style of speaking impact your listeners? Or have you ever thought of how does your kind of speaking make people feel? Before we delve into those thoughts a little bit more, I know you might be kind of a little bit noticing at this point what happened to my hair. A little backstory. I woke up today realizing it has been 4, perhaps turning into 5 long months since I have had my hair done. And I just decided to give myself my little haircut. It turned out as a big disaster, obviously, so you could see how it's turned up. So I'm not gonna bring that closer to the camera. Um, but no biggies. It's not the end of the world yet. So we're just trying to forgive. We're just gonna try to forgive that, and we'll talk about what we intend to talk about today. Hi there, guys. My name is Sheila, and this is your average, not super awesome, fairly interesting next door local vlogger. And today we will talk about your language reflects you. So, what am I trying to tell you, really? Basically, this will examine the character of your kind of speech. So, I'm not saying there's something wrong with how you generally speak, but I'm saying that there could be factors that we would want to consider being more sensitive on when it comes to the manner of our speech, when it comes to how we talk or how we communicate overall. So, jumping right into my first point, number one, do you subconsciously promote the hate language? What do I mean about that? Cussing, cursing, swearing, those are not even what I actually mean. I mean, it's normal for people to actually do those things. Let's not automatically judge when people end up having those kinds of feats, because again, those are natural reactions, guys. Everyone will have such tendencies, especially if they're in very tough situations. And I bet you would have had one of those experiences in one way or another, depending on the types of experience you probably had. So those are normal, those are not what I'm referring to. What I mean is that the kind of language where you intend to humiliate people or cause shame to others or belittle other people or discriminate, or the kind of language that generally targets people in a way that would cause them to feel bad about themselves. And so you may want to examine if you have that kind of tendency. I'm not saying that's something that's essentially wrong. Again, we're not really moral. We're not like a moral police, if I may put it that way. But I would suggest that we try to examine and be more sensitive about those kinds of things. I mean, if we do want to promote a better world truly, then we do want to be more considerate, more compassionate, more sensitive with the kind of language we tend to promote. Especially that a lot of our efforts and energy nowadays are put on social media or communicating virtually. We never would know what kind of impact those kinds of communication styles would have on people who are even trying to fight their own tough battles every single day. So if you feel that you may have been someone who in any way tends to promote such kind of language, it tends to put people down, then we may want to try and work on that a little bit, or try to come up with something that would hopefully control that kind of tendency. So again, we would want to promote a language that hopefully lifts people up, because we already are in a very tough situation globally, and hate language is not something that would really help people survive these trying times. So that's point number one. Now going to point number two, and that will be all about inclusive language. So what do we mean by inclusive language? Basically, it also ties to the first point. Now, being more compassionate and more sensitive with your language, you would also want to consider being more inclusive. So say, for example, do you use we in your sentences versus I? So something like, we do want to consider how other people feel. We would like to, as much as possible, give this platform to everyone else who aspire to. So the use of we suggests that you have an inclusive kind of language. Inclusive meaning, it's not just limited to grammar or components of speech, but inclusive meaning every time you talk, or the manner that you communicate or reach out to people, is something that considers other people's thoughts, perspectives, or emotions. A kind of language that's more embracing, that's not just limited to your own preferences or your own thoughts. Something that hopefully caters to a variety, to different kinds of perspectives, and something that is more welcoming and more embracing of others, if you know what I mean. So we may want to also work on being more inclusive when it comes to the way that we speak or the way that we communicate overall. And my last and third point is the kind of language that promotes courtesy, courteous language. I know that it's a life lesson that respect is to be earned. Respect is not just something that's handed over magically, but I dare say that courtesy should be a human commodity that everyone should have access to. It should be a basic, I would say, human courtesy, if you know what I mean. You don't have to really work hard to proving yourself in order to receive that kind of basic human courtesy in whatever scenario, whatever circumstance you may be at. I believe that everyone deserves basic courtesies in every communication format or whatever context you would put that into. So when you, for example, communicate, you would want to be more sensitive with how you're coming off. If you're coming off as courteous or respectful or considerate or something, that definitely provides more area when it comes to considering the basic human courtesies that we owe each other. So I think that would be it for my topic today, which will fall on our communication section, and that is once again your language reflecting you. So let's hopefully choose to be more compassionate, be more sensitive, be more respectful, be more courteous, and promote an inclusive kind of language. Thank you for listening, everyone, and you have a beautiful Sunday. Go, go, go. 555. Bye.